Guys, and then welcome to the part 2 of week 3 um, series of the programming with C++ series we are doing. Yeah, so this is the part 2. In the part 1 we looked at what expressions are, what statements are. We looked at the types of expressions and the type of statements, and then we also looked at conditional statements where we met if condition, we met if else, we met else if, and then the switch case. Now in this part of the video, or in this video, you're going to be talking about what loops are, loop statements or looping statements. Okay, so looping statements, they are basically used to repeat actions while a condition is true. So yeah, it's what helps us to repeat actions based on a certain condition. So for instance, let's say I want to display um, this hello. I want to display it a certain number of times. Now ideally what I would need to do is to copy and paste the same statement all over and all over and all over and all over again, again and again and again and again. Alright. And it's not really a good way, or should I say it can be exhausting sometimes depending on the number of repeated tasks or repeated tasks you want to be doing, right? So a simple way to go about this is the use of looping statements. And then just like conditional statement, there are types of looping statements, and the first one we're going to be looking at is the for loop, right? So the for loop is used to iterate, right? When I say iterate, it means repeat, right? Like print out a sequence or do a task a certain number of times. So an alternative way of doing this, right, is using the for loop. So how does the for loop do? You have for, then in between your parentheses you lay down your condition or your terms, right, on which you want the computer to perform the task, right? So put int I is equal to 0, right? Then I greater than, let me see, 9. Then I plus plus. So I'll explain what is going on here. So over here the int I equal to 0 is where I'm initializing um, the variable I, right? It's like my start, my initial. I want to start from 0. Then this is the condition, right? And before I come back to this, let me talk about this I plus plus. Remember in the first C++ video I did, I spoke about the increment operator, right? And I said the plus plus means you adding 1 to whatever it is. That is why C++ is called C++, because it's sort of an upgrade of the programming language C, right? So C++. We have I plus plus. What is happening here is that it's telling the computer to increase the value of the variable I by 1, right? And then this over here is the condition. So it's going to be I is going to be increasing till it gets to the point where I is less than it's no more less than 9, right? So it's going to be increasing so far as I is less than 9. So that's the condition. It's going to be doing that so far as I is less than I is less than 9. When I is no more less than 9, it's going to stop. You get it? So after this you put your parentheses, and then whatever you want the computer to do, you type it here. So I want the computer to print hello a certain number of times, basically 9 times, right? And then put my end line. Good. Let's run it and see. So as you can see, I have multiple hellos over here. How many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You understand? So instead of me copying and pasting and copying and pasting and copying and pasting, I can use the for loop to make my work very easy. Now I want us to look at the way the word the I value increases as it runs every time. Alright, now try and then explain the logic that is going on here. So see out I is the variable, the int variable, right? Okay. I don't know how this is going to look like, but then let's see. Good, good. So I believe this makes perfect sense. I mentioned that our initial value for I was 0, so I being 0, then it's increased by 1. So anytime it increases, it performs the task that is in the blocks. That is the compound statement, right? So it does that until this condition is no longer met. So as you can see, it does that because all the values of I, even though it's increasing, they are still less than 9, right? But then after the 8, realize that I becomes 9, and then I is the I is no more less than 9, so therefore it doesn't run again, it stops, right? So this is what we use to control the number of times we want our loop to run. Okay, let's move on to the next type of loop. That is the while loop. So the while loop is something like this. We are still going to do the same thing, right? So while for that, let me do this. Int I is equal to 0. So for the while loop, you do the initialization outside it. It's different from the for loop, right? So for the while loop, it's just the condition that goes in here. So say I is greater than 9. Hey, greater, let me do less than. It was less than, right? Less than 9. Then I'll do C out hello end line. Then I'll also do C out I, right? Now as you can see, we have not told the computer what should happen to I. That is, should I increase or not? If we don't do that, the loop is going to run and run and run because I is 0, and then nothing is being added to I is going to remain 0 forever. So far as I is going to remain 0 forever, it means I is going to remain less than 9 forever. So the loop is going to run forever, and then we don't want that to happen. So we put I plus plus right over here, and then we run it. Without that I plus plus, the loop is going to run and run and run, and then your laptop or your PC computer might crash, right? So yeah, I forgot to do this. Let me just do it so that we get what we got initially. Oh guys, I placed 2 colons, semicolons, but it worked anyway. Yeah, so as you can see, the concepts and the explanation is just like the for loop, right? I said my I is going to be 0, that's my starting point, and then the while loop should run so far as the I is less than 0, right? And then replace this I plus plus there to make sure that the I increases after each iteration or each run. You understand? Yeah, so that is the while loop. That is the while loop. And then the next one is the do while loop. The do while loop. The do while loop. So let's look at that. So we already have our initialization here. And then we do this. So whatever I want to be done, hello, we put it in the do section. Then we also like to display the I. We always do that. And then we can't forget the increment of I. So you should do this while I is less than 9. So same concept here. Same concept here. You should do all this so far as I is less than 9. And like I said, without this line, which is the most important line in the loop to prevent your laptop from crashing or your PC from crashing, without this line, I is going to remain 0. And so far as I is remaining 0, this condition is going to be met infinitely, like forever, because I is going to be forever 0 and then I is going to be forever less than 9. So the loop is going to run and run. So you'll be seeing hello, 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 so, right, and your laptop might crash. So that is a way to prevent that. After every iteration, the value of I increases all the way to 8. The moment it gets to 8 or the moment it gets to 9, the condition is not met again. So I'm running it, and you can see we have the same. Sorry about that. Yeah, we have the same results. Let me run it again. We have the same results, right? So that is it for the loops. That is it for the loops. One last thing I would like to talk about is the jump statements. So the jump statements, they are like, we use them to jump in a loop. So let's see int okay, int I is already equal to 0. Okay, let me use a for loop. Because I'm going to be using a for loop, I'm going to get rid of this initialization line and put it here. Int I is equal to 0. Then I less than 10, I plus plus, right? So example of the jump statements, I forgot to talk about them, sorry. Example of the jump statements, we have the break, the continue, and then the return. So the break exits the loop, right? Or it switches early or it stops early, depending on where you put it. So let's say I want to stop my loop when I get to 5, even though in my condition I'm saying it should do up to like 10, right? This is what I'll do. So I'm going to make use of the conditional statement. So if I is equal to 5, the moment I increases up to 5, it should what? It should break. It should stop, right? But then in the meantime, it should be displaying I, right? You can put hello there, but then let's do this. Good. So realize that I increases from 0, and then the moment it gets to 5, it just stops. Right, now if I want to display 5, right, If I want the file to display, then I'm going to be starting from 1. You get? So let's try that. Start from 1. Okay, I start from 1 and then I put this to 6 because I want the 5 to display. So you always do +1 of it. You understand? Um, yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 exactly. Yeah, and then we have the continuum. So the continuum, it skips to the next, right? So when I put continuum here, it's going to skip 6 and continue. It makes sense, right? Good. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we don't see 6. So it jumps to 7, 8, 9. Right. So that is the continue and then the break. The return, what the return does, it exists from a function. So as you can see, even in the main function, we see the return, right? So let's try that and see. So I'm going to put return 0 and see something. Good. So process return 0, right? So it exits from a function. Exactly. So it exits the moment I go to 6. It stopped and then exits itself from the whole function. Exactly. So that is it for today. A quick summary: we've looked at expressions, we looked at statements, and then we've looked at the if else conditional statements, right? And then we look at loops, and then the switch case, and the break and continue statements, right? We said the expressions produces value. Example is x plus 3, a is equal to b, a is equal to b, right? We look at statements. You say performs an action. So int a is equal to 5, c out less than a. We look at the conditional statements or the control structures which are used for decision making, right? So we can say if x is less than 0, you should print so and so and so, or do this. And we've looked at loops. The loops are used for repetition. We have the for loops, the while loops, and the do while loops, right? And we look at the switch cases, which are used for multiple conditional options, right? And then the jump statement, that's the break, and then the continue. The break is used to stop based on a certain condition you put in your loop, and the continue is used to skip the next iteration based on the condition, right? So that is it for week 3. Our week 3 series of programming with C++. That is it. This is the part 2. If you haven't seen the part 1, you can check it out. And always remember to leave your questions in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and share. Have a good day.